Thank you for joining us for this spring 2022 water treatment plant replacement update. I'm Jason Kennedy, the City of Grants Pass Public Works Director, and I'll be walking you through our technology selection process. One exciting development this spring was the selection by the Grants Pass City Council of the replacement water treatment plant technology that will be used for processing the water. The treatment method that we use today has served the city well, but over the years, water treatment and purification methods have really improved. The newer technologies are more efficient, and now with construction of the replacement plant, the city can pick a treatment method that will better serve us going into the future. Not only is there better technology, but there are also a lot more choices. Importantly, one size doesn't fit all. The first thing to look at when picking a technology is the type of water to be treated. Water treatment processes typically involve the same basic steps, but individual water treatment systems can be customized. Depending on the community's needs, they may select from a variety of treatment technologies, equipment, chemicals, and processing steps. In fact, most municipal water treatment systems are unique to the area they serve. One water treatment system may operate differently than one in a town just 5 miles up the road. In the case of Grants Pass, we are incredibly fortunate that our source water is the Rogue River. But because we use river water, some treatment methods are better than others. For example, our treatment methods need to be able to filter out things like sand, clay, and silt, as well as the germs that are common in this type of water. Another thing we had to think about is what happens early in the spring when high flows flush the riverbanks, or later in the summer when water temperatures rise. When this happens, compounds can enter or form in the water that lead to unpleasant taste and odor. Utilities around the country often receive high numbers of customer complaints whenever these incidents occur, and we knew we would need extra treatment steps to correct that problem. Finally, we had to consider how the water will be used, and at what time of the day and in what amounts. For example, in Grants Pass, the most water is used between the hours of 5 and 8 a.m. This is when most automatic irrigation systems turn on. However, depending on the time of year, the water treatment plant usually doesn't turn on before 8 a.m., leading to our reservoir levels dropping at a pretty fast rate. After looking at several good options, the city narrowed down the choices to 2 different treatment technologies that could be relied on to deliver the high quality water treatment residents expect. These were conventional treatment with ozone and membranes with powdered activated carbon, or PAC. Both conventional and membrane treatment methods are used by other cities like ours. Ozone and PAC are added to treatment to address the potential taste and odor issues that might appear on the Rogue River. Both of these choices were good options for treating the Grants Pass's source water and could manage the expected demands. In making a selection, one of the most important things that the City Council wanted to know was the difference in cost between the options. To evaluate this, the design build team in the city developed a series of questions. To start with, we needed to know things like, does the technology require operations staff to be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Or could it be managed with more automation? What types of training or special credentials would staff need to run it? How hard is it to recruit and retain this type of staff? What types and amounts of chemicals would be required? Are there relative cost differences of the chemical options? How much energy will it use? What will our electric bills be like? And what type of maintenance is going to be needed, and who can do that maintenance? So here are some of the highlights of our analysis. The first factor was the method of treatment itself. While both methods use chlorine as a final step in the water treatment process, we needed to make sure that all of the other direct costs were accounted for, and the complexity and the efficiency of the treatment methods as well. In the case of membranes, things like pollutants, germs, and viruses, silts, and clays are all filtered out by the membranes. With membranes, powdered activated carbon treatment is only needed when the water has large amounts of the undesired properties. The conventional ozone treatment allows for more real-time treatment. In a conventional system, the chemical processes called coagulation and filters are used to remove the undesired materials, and operators add the ozone continuously. Both membranes and conventional systems provide the high quality results that we were looking for, but the cost of chemicals and the amount of staffing needed to manage them are big cost drivers. So the team also looked at things like energy costs and the costs of managing the materials removed from the water. These costs were added to the initial cost of purchasing and installing the technologies, in addition to the long-term operational costs of running them. Still, one other consideration related to the future of the city. And what would the cost be if the city grew, regulations changed, or some other event occurred and more treatment capacity was needed? Another factor that needed to be considered was the physical size of the treatment plant. We needed to make sure that there was enough room on the property for what was needed today, but also what would be needed 50 years into the future. As you can see from these side-by-side drawings, the membrane option has a smaller footprint and gives us more flexibility in future expansion if enhancement is needed. You might remember from the earlier slides that two different treatment methods were described for addressing potential taste and odor: ozone and PAC. When we looked at ozone and PAC, we used the same factors as before for comparing the two options: the treatment benefits, staffing requirements, environmental impacts, processing of residuals, and the cost. After weighing all of the pros and cons, especially the costs for each option, staff and the design build team recommended, and the City Council agreed, that membrane filtration with powdered activated carbon addition was the best option for the city today and into the future. This 1901 photo of the Rogue River reminds us of the amazing Grants Pass water legacy. The sound decisions made by the City Council today will serve us well now and tomorrow. Thanks again for joining us for this Spring 2022 update. We look forward to providing you more updates as the project progresses.